Bird's eye view in 15 minutes of spiritual laws of world drama, validated by science. We are talking about the law of spirituality, all depicted in a single page. Spirituality, word derived from spirit or the soul. It talks about eternal world drama, and of course, it is validated by physics as well as metaphysics. The first law of definition of the drama based on quantum physics, which talks about predefined script, and which also talks about relation between two actors, namely spirit and nature, and spirit or Purush controls the Prakriti. Now this is the second law, which talks about the quality of the actors, which is based on thermodynamics, where it says that Purush, with respect to the time, will have a more vikar that will control Prakriti with ever increasing entropy. And that will leads to thermal death, and it may lead to the end of the drama. But drama is eternal, so that is the law of eternal, so that it cannot be any beginning or there cannot be any end. So there has to be a cycle. Now, as for the physics, entropy increases, so vikar increases, and if there is to be cycle, somehow this vikar has to become zero. So we need a metaphysics phenomena, that is the avtरण of the third actor, Paramatma, at specific time. Then it defines the spirituality, means in spite of the pain, if suffering is zero, then you will generate a prarabdha, a script, which will give you a sada sukh. And then we'll talk about journey in space and time, cyclic journey of the spirit through space of the three world and time of the 5 yug. So these are the laws. This is the law of drama definition. This is the law of the quality of actors. This is the law of eternity, and this is the law of cyclic journey. So these are the 4 laws. And let's talk about the first law, the law of definition, which is based on quantum physics. This is an experiment, and the conclusion is that Sankalp Srishti means conscious mind of the Purush controls the Prakriti, is as per this observation. By conscious on 5 elemental and electrons. Another conclusion is that script of the Purush controls the Prakriti, not conscious mind, but script of the Purush controls the Prakriti. This is based on the delayed choice observation. This is further validated by the Libet experiment, where it says that unconscious mind controls the conscious mind based on these observations, where this point is intention. So intention, EEG signal of intention is always preceded by some signal which could be generated from unconscious mind. So there is no free will, everything is scripted. And now let us understand the definition of the script. This is theory of relativity, says that time and space are interrelated because space is dimension. Time also becomes a dimension. And the script is the world line. So there's every point on the line is event, which is a R and T. R is X, Y, Z, and T. So this is a 4-dimension. This is how the word line is defined. Now let us use the Schrodinger equation. Where this part is a Purush, this is a Prakriti. Prakriti is by default is energy. So this is what we say that when the Purush is observe the Prakriti, the script interacts with the Prakriti. Prakriti is by default is in Schrodinger equation in superposition form. As one is observes the behavior of the Prakriti changes, so that is called as a collapse of the Schrodinger equation. It converts into M, that is a point, energy was a waveform, and this is the solution of the Schrodinger equation, maybe based on the product, based on the probability. So it's multiple states, which relates to the tossing of the coin that has gone into the single state, because that is the only, this is a conscious mind, a single, because conscious mind only understands the single state, and based on that it derives the sankalp, and based on that it will also control the Srishti that we will see in the next law. And there is this was the Murli interpretation, and then there is Vedic interpretation, which says that whatever is observed in Purush is the truth. So M is the truth, but then E is a mithya. And then there is another interpretation, the Ashtavakra Gita, which talks about that only Q, which is a part of the soul and supreme soul, is a truth. Human vikar or this black layer is all mithya. That we will see in the next law. So based on the definition of the drama, we know that A1 controls A2, so they both can be considered in single axis, and that will be useful in the second law, which is the law of quality of the two actors. So this is the second law where we talks about the prakriti, which is energy, which is quantity is constant. First law of conversion, but quality or efficiency deteriorates or downgrades. So it becomes spirituality. We can say this becomes satosu tamu as time passes, and it goes to the two cycle, from ideal or deterministic cycle to real or non-deterministic cycle. So this is the ideal cycle. As time goes by, this is, we can give the example of the engine with a lubrication, and this is a real cycle. So we can say an engine with a friction, and the quality deteriorates, which scientifically it will be termed as an entropy, where entropy increases, efficiency reduces, and the entropy is a function of external elements when it is an ideal case, and when then because of the friction there will be an internal element also, so it is external influence, so this becomes it downgrades further. So this first part, or ideal part, is we can call it the reversible. Non-ideal part is real part is a non-linear, irreversible thing. In ideal part, Clausius equality becomes zero. Because of that, uh, this is the cyclic integration. So it comes back to the same point. So this whole thing becomes quite deterministic. Here there is unbalance because of this, because of the friction, there is unbalance, and the cyclic equation is, and because of that it doesn't comes back too fast, so it becomes non-deterministic. Here the equation is entropy equation ds is dqt, so it it talks only of the external impact. Here in external come internal. So here is the entropy generated. This is internal thing. Because of this additional leakage, the efficiency deteriorates further because it is external and internal. Here it is external, so it only depends on the external temperature. And this is the equation of the efficiency, and ultimately, because of this leakage, the source temperature and sink temperature, if it becomes bigger, the efficiency is bigger. This is the thermal death. So here there is capacity of work almost becomes zero. And we will see that if quality has to remain constant in spite of the entropy, then what happens that entropy should reduce and time also should reduce. But the law of entropy says that there's a physics, time cannot reduce, it cannot become zero. So because time cannot reduce, it cannot be a cycle as far as physics is concerned. So time cannot go back in this direction. We have already seen the effect of the entropy of the Prakriti or the heat engine. So we now will try to derive from the differentiation entropy to an absolute entropy. And that absolute entropy, this is based on statistics of probability. So this is it is proportional to the number of microstates for a specific combination or for specific model. It is given by this Boltzmann equation. So from delta S, we were trying to define the absolute entropy. We can say that process will flow from S1 to S2. At S2, it will be the higher entropy. Then from that process entropy, which is based on probability, we will try to derive the information entropy. So this is based on the Maxwell thought experiment, which will say, which hypothetically prove that statistical entropy can reduce, which was not supposed to be the truth. But then it says that information entropy will increase and it will override the reduction of the statistical entropy. So total entropy will always increase or it will remain constant. So that is, it validates the second law of thermodynamics. And that shows that memory and process of the information will also have the same effect as microstates. And that also has a similar formula. H is equal to log Tn. So this is a similar formula of what is of the Boltzmann equation. So that proves from S we can derive on the information entropy. From information entropy, we'll try to derive that it is Purush, and it is with Purush the Vikar also increases. So this is because the Maxwell experiment will have a demon, or it was a soul. So because it has a memory and process, so that is the soul. So that is the Purush. And if you see the equation says that number of searches or based on number of vikalp, it's based on number of information, number of microstates. So with respect to the time, information layer increases with respect to time, and because of that, entropy or the number of layers. So this is first layer, this is second layer. So number of layers is which we can be equivalent to Vikar, which is because number of layers. So we can thus prove that the Prakriti entropy, which is equivalent to increase of the Purush Vikar, and this Vikar leads to Vikalp. So this Vikalp is the binary search. So this is, if more height and there are, more number of binary searches. So we can say that this is the number of the Vikalp. So based on this, we'll see the total cycle where this is what we have already proved. So we have taken example of heat engine, we have the example of the soul, so they are all comparable. So this is the, because of the frequency of this entropy, and this is equivalent to Vikar, and this is the exergy destroyed, which is something, it is the energy, which is something equivalent to Vikalp. And this whole thing is extrapolated, where we can say that QH is input energy of the heat engine is equivalent to the script of the soul. Then this is output, the exhaust thing, which is equivalent to the sankalp. Based on script and sankalp, the work will be done. So the work will be, that will be the karma, and there will be an efficiency. The efficiency is always less than work, because there is always be some exhaust efficiency work that we can call it as a kala. Then there is a source temperature, external environment, which is nothing but the charge of the soul, and there is a sink temperature, which is nothing but the environment, which is based on the number of souls. And then let's see what happens with increase in time. So when with increase in time, the script is executed. When script is executed, the frequency of the sankalp will increase. From karma, it will become from 0 to positive and negative. Kala will further reduce with external environment. Because of the discharge, Q will reduce. Environment number of souls will increase, and this we have already seen. So we will see now the cycle of the Prakriti. We will go from the Sato to Purush and Prakriti. So Sato to Tamos, it will go from the Nirvikari world to the Vikari world. It will execute from script S to script B, which is equivalent to ideal script to ideal means frictionless or lubricated things to a friction ones. So this is these two yugs, gold and silver, is Nirvikari world. In Nirvikari world, but there is a script S. So there is because it is prarabdha, which is accumulated. That is what is executed, and because of this lubrication, there is no effect of the karmic account, because karma is equal to 0. And so this is based on the sankalp. We will get the work done or karma is done. So here, this is a golden age, this is a silver age. So automatically, external environment is there, and this pralabdha, this green layer, is also a bit reduced. Then we'll talk about the Vikari world. In this Vikari world, we will say that this is script B, or it is a non-deterministic script. So there is a friction, and because of the friction, is a black layer, there is a karma book. So this, because of this vikar, this karma, karmic theory will affect the script, because it will become, script becomes non-deterministic. And because of the non-deterministic script, there is a vikar, instead of, there will be a sankalp, and there is a leakage in the form of vikalp. So there will be sukh and dukh both, and we will see how charge is getting reduced, so it's becoming sato to tamo, and that we can see from here. So this is the soul, where the soul is a two script. This is the dotted line is script S, and script B is the blue line, and this script dotted line, once it is in golden age, and when you go to the silver age, the script is getting executed, so lubricating layer is peeled off, and then in copper age, because of the friction, or because of the becomes the body conscious, there will be black layer is what is vika, and that black layer is increasing. This one, this is how we can say that the Q is reducing, and the Q, which is the quality of the soul, which is common for all the souls, is the 7 guns, namely Gyan, Pavitrata, Shanti, Prem, Khushi, Anand, and Shakti. So this is soul is in the journey. Soul is getting discharged, and as per the science, it will become so discharged so that it will not be able to work, or it will affect the entropy. So entropy will become, it will lead to thermal death. So we will see, we'll combine the first law and the second law, and based on the quantum physics, theory of relativity, and thermodynamics. So the script which we already seen, so which affects the phi element, which is with a Schrodinger equation, it converts energy to mass, and then there is a sigma n, which can be single state. So this is per the conscious mind. Now the conscious mind will convert that into the sankalp as per this equation. ds is dqt plus dsg. This is equation for the Vicari world. So in this sankalp, this equation is Vicari world. The sankalp gets converted into dqt, and that is what is enough in the Vicari world. But because of the Vicari world, there is a Vicar, and because this Vicar, there is a black layer that will generate Vikalp, and then so this is Sankalp is generated, here Sankalp is generated, and here Vikalp is generated, and this Vikalp will generate entropy, and so this is dQt, and this is the entropy is generated, and this is how the quality, the phi element quality, as per this equation, quality is keeps on deteriorating, and with respect to the time. So this talks about quality is deteriorating, and then the interpretation of Aham Brahmasri or Ashtavakra Gita is that only Q is the truth, whether it becomes of the soul or it becomes supreme soul, where Q is infinity. So that is truth, and Vikar is truth. That is not, that interpretation is wrong, because this cycle or degradation of this cycle is because of the entropy or because of the Vikar of the Purush. So that is not correct. So as per the law of quality, so ultimately the Prakriti, as per the thermodynamics, the Prakriti will go to minus infinity. It will be the end because of the thermal death. But then we say that the drama is eternal. If the drama is eternal, it cannot end. So drama is eternal. So there is a sato to tamo. So there has to be a tamo to sato. So that has to be a cycle. So what we have seen in law of quality is that with the time, vikar of the purush increases, and which control the entropy of the prakriti. But if it is cycles, either entropy should reduce, but as per the physics, this is not possible. So vikar has to reduce, because if vikar reduces, then it can always control the prakriti. So this is red arrow. So vikar is reduced. So to reduce that, there has to be avtaran of the Param Purush, and this is a metaphysics phenomena. And that phenomena is depicted here. So there is avtaran of the Purush, and then see this x-axis, you have to come back to x-axis. So this path is a path of yoke, and where that is what is spirituality. So critical mass of the souls is to generate a script S, and then only they can qualify to come into the new world. So this is the new world. So it will again repeat the cycle. Or there is another option, is you can go back by the bhog, by the karma bhog, and by the karma bhog, then there is no pralabdha is generated. So you have to follow this particular path, And this is how you complete. The cycle is completed by some souls by this and some souls by this. So this is a cycle. The next cycle will start. So this is the concept of the cycle. So let us see. So this is the law of eternity. So we will see law of cycle or law of eternity. So how that happens. So this becomes from, suppose so this is a theory of relativity, which says that this is a block universe. So this is a present, this is a past and future. So this either can be linear or circular. If it is linear, then we'll say that growing in a straight line, so things are happening. But if it is a circular, then we can say that nothing new. So theory of relativity or special theory of relativity takes that it could be a circular. So this drama can be a cycle. So special theory of relativity, we have already seen that word line is a straight line, but then there is a general theory of relativity because of the gravity of the world. There is a world line. So gravity is not a force, but it is, as far as this is the general theory of relativity, the word line will get attracted or will get curved, and because the word line becomes curved, this can be moved. So this also can prove that this is also drama can be a circular, and the drama is circular. So at because it's a metaphysics phenomenon, yada yada dharma saglani bhava, at that particular point of time, from soul world, which is beyond the boundary of the law of entropy, because the thermodynamic law is not applicable. There is avatरण of the Paramatma in the form of the additional soul in the body of the host, and this is the principle of the avatरण. And then the Paramatma will do the Raj Yoga. It will depart Gyan in the yoga within the pure form. So this will help in nullifying the vikars. So that will help it to become from tamo to sato. So this param purusha avatरण, so vikar becomes zero, and then if vikar becomes zero, then entropy becomes zero, time becomes zero, and we will have a cycle. It can either happen using a karma bhog. So this is the karmic thing, and action is equal to reaction. And when you do the vikram, there will only be indriya sukha or dukh, and that is always a law of diminishing utility. So that is the temporary thing. Then then there is a Raj Yoga. So when we talk about other form is a yoga, bhog or yoga. In the Raj Yoga, you can see that you can experience the Raj Yoga. It is a communication with Supreme Soul based on electromagnetic wave theory. Is a kind of telepathy, concept of the telepathy. Then we also experience Atindriya Sukh. So there is a principle of the resonance. Then we can experience our sanskars improves. So there is a change. And why it changes is by the focus. So the lens focus on lens focus with paper burns. So this is how the vikar burns. And because of this vikar burns, so this formula stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. So the Q resistance, so the stress also reduces. And then if there is a communication, constant communication is a kind of quantum interval. So you are always in Sadasresh Sukham, so they're always in the Sukharma with communication with the God. And then the principle of Raj Yoga, which is the conscious mind control the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is more powerful. The concept is that the conscious mind is a logical, so we'll, based on the Gyan, we will do the yoga, and based on this Gyan in the conscious mind, with the concentration, we will try to reduce the sanskar in the subconscious unconscious of the previous birth, and that is what is yoga. So this is the concept of becoming from tamo to sato. And then we will see how the cycle concerned. So because of this Raj Yoga, what happens is that soul becomes God conscious. We will do the Purusharth and it will generate the Shreshth Sankalp. Based on the Shreshth Sankalp, we generate the Sukhan, that will generate the script test, which is a Pralabdha. And this is what is a Shreshth Sankalp. So we have seen in Nirvikari world, we were generating Sankalp. In Vikari world, we were generating Vikalp. But in this diamond age or in Sangam Yuga, when God is going, we have to generate a Shreshth Sankalp. And because of this Shreshth Sankalp, we'll, it's critical mass of the wind, it will become from Tamo to Sattva, so either by this or by, we can do it this by Bhog also. So without generating a script, so this is green, the script is generated, the script is done, and this is the path. And if the script is generated, and this is the path. So we will see how the Q is charged. So we have seen how the Q is discharged, and now we'll see how Q is charged. So we have seen this is Q is discharged. So there is two paths. One is the path of the yoke. So one's through yoke, which is a supreme soul. So supreme soul where Q is infinity, is soul number 0, and frequency is 0, less than 0, so that can be charged. And this is the only soul which has a Q is infinity, doesn't take birth, and is a permanent father of all the souls. And when we can do the Raj Yoga, with the Raj Yoga, we can see that Vikar can get this thing nullified, and then script as is generated, and then Vikar becomes 0, and we will at the end of the cycle, and this will go back. Or by Bhok, so Vikar will nullify only by the Bhok, so there will be pain as well as suffering, and no script is generated, and this is how Q can be charged. So this is how the Q can be charged. And so this is how the cycle is. So this is akarma. So in Nirvikari world, then it becomes automatically becomes Vikarma. And then only when you do the Purusharth and recognize the God, there will be, this is what is spirituality. So if you do the Sukarma, then only you will come back to Akarma. Otherwise, if it is by Bhog, then you will come back to the Vikarma cycle only. So let us understand the concept of the energy body. So energy body is the Q, and then on top of that there is a black layer is Vikar, and then so this can be exercised. Like the physical body, we have a food and exercise. So the energy body can be exercised by Gyan is equivalent to food, and yoga is exercise. So if you do that, Vikar is reduced, and because the Vikar is reduced, then we are able, even in pain, in spite of the karmic account, we can control our suffering, and that will generate happiness always. So it all depends on the Shreshth Sankalp that we have seen. Based on, and then because frequency is 0, so there will be a charging effect. We'll generate the script test or a deterministic pralabdha, and we'll get the Sada Sukh. So that is possible, and that is possible. So these two bodies of the energy body and physical body. So if there is this black layer, we feel it is a one, it is merged. So we feel there is only a physical body. So we all depend on the senses. So our happiness and sadness is based on the senses. It is external things, and so this happiness is always temporary, and it will maybe addictive. So with Raj Yoga and with this kind of exercise, we can able to distinguish between the two bodies, so physical body and emotional body. And once we be able to differentiate the emotional body, because the emotional body is made up of soul and vikar. So we'll be able to understand what is the soul. We'll be able to understand the quality of the soul, and then we can be happy. So this will be internal things. So we will seek the happiness internally, and this will be always be an eternal things. So, so key is the spirit, spirit is the soul. So the energy of the spirit is a thought. So we'll try to define the thought using thought. We'll try to find the spirituality. It is all clear that spirituality is especially depend on the time. The time, the critical time is the avtरण of the God. So there is, we have already seen this nirvikari world. All souls, if they are soul conscious, they will generate only sankalp. And because of that, because of this lubrication, so because this is a pralabdha is executed, and this is the automatic mode. In the Vikari world, because of the body consciousness and karmic account, we generate the vikalp, that there will be a pain, there will be suffering, that also is automatic. So there is no control. All souls will behave accordingly. But in the diamond world, or in the Sangam Yuga, if you have recognized you, then based on the Raj Yoga, you can generate the Sresh Sankalps by becoming God conscious. So you generate the scriptures. So this is what effort we have to make. And once you make effort, so that in spite of the pain or karmic account, the suffering through Raj Yoga is zero. So this qualifies, and we make us effort. And this diamond world is a time of the settlement for all the souls. So some souls, critical souls, will finish the cycle based on the yoga. Otherwise, most of the souls, there's only 33 crores souls will do that. The rest of the souls will be based on the book. And then, based on this, then then there is the last law, is the law of the journey, or this is the cyclic journey, the law of cycle journey. So we'll see this is the soul world, this is the human world, and this is the angel world. And we can see that this is a inverted tree structure. Then this is how the soul travels. And then this is a different view of the soul. Here the human world is a green, then universe is a blue with sun and line. And this is the intra-boundary of the entropy. And this white is the angel world. And then this is the soul world. This one is the soul world. And then let's summarize this. So this is the bird's eye view, a single page view. This is the first law, this is the second law, this is the third law, this is the fourth law,